This is 3.3, number 24 for Math 126 OE1. And the idea here, this is a polynomial equation, or inequality, I should say, and we're looking for when it's going to be positive or above the x-axis. So if you were to graph this, if you put this in decimals and graphed it, you're looking for the places it's above, and it's a strictly greater than. So we would never be equal to, it's always going to be the parentheses for the intervals. And again, the answer for this will be intervals. Now, another way to do this problem besides graphing it is to look at this as a function. F of x equals 4 times the quantity x minus 12 squared times x minus 4 times x plus 5. So we look for what are the zeros. We set that equal to 0 and we get x minus 12. Set that equal to 0, we get x equals 12. X minus 4, set that equal to 0, we get x equals 4. And x plus 5, set that equal to 0, we get x equals negative 5. I do want to note, I made a little notation here that the x equals 12 is a double root, so I'm going to include that down here, although my handwriting leaves a lot to be desired. That's x minus 12. And so I'm going to do the table format, and some people really like the table format and some people don't. So especially those who don't like to graph, this is a good alternative. So the idea is to look for values. I put these in an order from smallest to largest. These are the zeros, negative 5, 4, and 12. So it's at the zeros where you might see a change in sign of the overall function. And again, let's remind ourselves, we're looking for it to be positive. So I'm going to go to here and I'm going to think of a number smaller than negative 5. And I'm going to change colors now to, let's call it negative 6. Between negative 5 and 4, I'll go with 0. Between 4 and 12, I'll go with a 5. And bigger than 12, I'll go with 13. So if I put negative 6 in place of this x, negative 6 minus 12 is going to be a negative 18, but squared, that's going to be a positive. All we care about this is the sign here. And that represents the sign for that region. So being less than negative 5, it's going to be positive for the x minus 12 quantity squared portion. If you put negative 6 in here for the negative 4, negative 6, or next negative 4, negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10, so that's negative. And negative 6 plus 5, that's also going to be negative. So we have a positive times a negative, and that's going to be a positive. And that's going to fit with the region requirements that about it being positive. Put a 0 in there. 0 minus 12 is negative 12. Negative 12 squared is positive, so we get a positive there. In fact, basically, anything we put in here for this x, it's going to be, even if it comes out negative, it gets squared, so it's positive. So, to be honest, put a 5 in there, you're going to be a negative 7. Negative 7 squared is positive. Put a 13, you get a 1. 1 squared is positive, so that's good enough. Put a 0 in here for the x on the next one. 0 minus 4 is negative 4, so that's negative. 0 plus 5 is positive. A positive times a negative times a positive is a negative. Put a 5 in here. 5 minus 12 is, we just did that one. 5 minus 4 is positive. 5 plus 5 is positive, so we're going to get a positive. And then put the 13 in there. 13 minus 4 is positive. 13 plus 5 is positive, so we get a positive. So it's going to be positive in these regions, but it's really important to get the answer down correctly because it says strictly greater than 0. So we're looking at here, and at here. Meaning it's negative infinity to negative 5. Union that with 4 to 12, union that with 12 to infinity. So those are the three regions. We don't include the 12 because it's not strictly equal to 12. It's not equal to 0. 12 makes it 0. So we have to exclude the 12 from these values. Okay. I hope that helps.